The Florida LULAC Consent Decree of 1990 doesn't provide any new rights to English language learners, but it provides structure on how to provide their rights correctly. In 1923, a law was passed that no one can be forced to learn English, but most immigrant parents wanted their children to learn English, wanted them to be able to live in America and prosper, and they felt it meant they needed to know English for that. Over 600,000 students in 2009-2010 were English language learners. There are over 50 million immigrants in the United States, which means 1 in 5 public school students is an English language learner. Florida's English language learners come from all over. We have a big population of Haitian, Cuban, Guatemalan, Indian, and I guess European students. The Common Core standards do not have any standards or provisions for English language learners. Florida has been trying to combat that for kindergarten and first grade students, but they mostly go back to the older Florida standards that does cover English language learners. Most 85% of English language learners are born in the United States. What we are finding out is that they are not empty. They have their own culture, language, their own experiences. And just because they don't know English doesn't mean they don't have knowledge. The data on emergent bilinguals is flawed. And before I get to that, there are different names for English language learners. English language learners is one. They were once called limited English proficient, English as a second language, culturally and linguistically diverse. And many of the labels have critics that say some of these focus on the negative. Limited English proficient means you're limited, whereas English as a second language focused on the subject. And they wanted something that would really focus on the student, focus on the person. So they began to move to dual language learner, and also emergent bilingual. Emergent bilingual sounds, I guess, more academic, and it gives policy makers the push to make the curriculum more challenging, and it focuses more on the fact that they are emerging in 2 languages. And that is one of the issues, not focusing on the fact that they may have one native language, but that they will actually become proficient in 2 languages. The data on emergent bilinguals is flawed. Many surveys and assessments ask for first language or native language, ignoring the fact that many emergent bilinguals began with 2 languages. They were born here, and their parents may be proficient in one language, but they may have always been connected to 2 languages. Students go through school, and they are tested and are assessed, and they can be reclassified as English proficient when they do well academically using the scores from their tests. This is problematic, as most times the scores from standardized tests can be, because it does not give you a whole picture. It will give you what is on the test or what they may be able to pass on the test, but it may not give you conversation. It may not give you relationship. It may not give you how they actually comprehend it outside of a test taking scenario. Most southeastern and Midwestern states have a large emergent bilingual student population. The languages of most of those emergent bilinguals are 70% Spanish, and there are different dialects of Spanish within that. Asian is near 14%. Indo-European is nearing 12%, and other languages will make up 5%. Creole being a part of those other languages. Many of the emergent language learners, emergent bilinguals, are black or brown. They are in urban areas. They may live below the poverty line. Many of them are in areas that lack resources for them. One of the issues as an early childhood educator that I find is that there are a limited number of programs for early learning, early childhood emergent bilinguals. I had a student who was emergent bilingual, a native language of Spanish, and he was also autistic. So we had a lot of hurdles to overcome because we needed help with Spanish to English translation, and we needed help with occupational therapy who could do Spanish to English translation. So there are a lot of issues when it comes to trying to get interventions in place, as well as providing resources for families of young students that are emergent bilinguals. One of the things that the second video said that I really took to heart was that the children are not empty vessels. They are full of experiences and culture. They have knowledge. We can't assume that because they don't speak English, they don't know. They may know it. They may just know it in their language, their native language. English language learners have been classified as students who are not yet proficient in English language. However, emergent bilinguals means that the languages are being learned simultaneously, and that the students are being provided curriculum for those languages for them to make connections between the languages. Thank you.